who are in school and they're trying to help their children navigate while also trying to take care of their children in the classroom, in the online virtual classroom now, because for the most part, all across the country, because of the coronavirus crisis, schools have been closed. And many schools have been closed for the remainder of this calendar year, and they are operating via distance learning. And so that has some tremendous advantages, but also some tremendous challenges. But we at Hope Fellowship seek to reach, connect, grow, and serve. It is our calling to make new and to make great and to make sure that we are a resource, not just to persons in Daytona Beach and Flagler County, where we have physical locations, but to persons all over the world, all over this country, to help people navigate this time with a bit more information. And so God has given us the grace to have these experts, and we're going to turn them loose in just a moment. But I'm taking out my phone. And the reason why I'm taking out my phone is I am going to Facebook Live right now. I'm going to Facebook Live to Hope Fellowship, the Victory Center, and I am going to share this broadcast. Listen, I'm not a parent. I am a God parent, which means I have the blessed ability to babysit and send children back home to their parents. It also means I have the blessed opportunity to hear some of the challenges that my godchildren's parents are experiencing with navigating these various online platforms. And so I'm going to Facebook Live right now because I want to share this to make sure that all of the people I'm connected to have the opportunity to join with us this evening. So what am I going to call this? Let's see. I'm going to say, if you are a parent and you need some inspiration, y'all come on in. You need some inspiration and information. Join me now for Hope's PTA night. You won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed. So y'all come on in. If you're joining us from somewhere around the country and we don't know you and you don't know us, we want to know you. So tell us your name. Let us know who you are so that we can fellowship together and grow together this evening. So I've shared now to my page, and I pray that all of our presenters have shared, but we want to make this opportunity available to as many who would take a part this evening. So in just a few moments, I believe it's 7:04, in just about a minute, we will get started. And so I am going to pray, and then I'm going to bring all of our panelists on so that we can introduce them. And then I'm going to turn them loose so that we can spend as much time as possible helping our parents in this world, in this country, in Daytona, in Flagler County, in Volusia County, everywhere, helping our parents have a little bit more inspiration and hopefully be able to relax as they move through this time. So I know it's an intimidating, challenging time for us all, but God is our refuge and our strength. And the Bible says that he is a very present help in the time of trouble. So y'all come on in. Y'all come on in and say hello to us this evening. Y'all come on in and say hello to us. We want to know who you are and where you're coming in from. We want to share with you this evening. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informational, it's going to be inspirational, and prayerfully we leave this motivated to make sure, yes, it's April, but we are going to finish this school year strong. I need you to write that in your comment box. I'm going to finish this school year strong with my child. Hey, Anishka, God bless you. Sister Donnie, God bless you. Rose, y'all make sure you all share this, okay? Make sure you all share this. Go to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and press share. So without further ado, I want to bring in our list of panelists tonight, our amazing group of ladies this evening who are going to be leading us through this time. So we have Dr. Melanie Johnson, who is a proud member of Hope Fellowship Church and also the newly appointed principal of Turi T. Small Elementary School in Volusia County Public Schools. She has an extensive career in education as an educator, then as an assistant principal, and lo and behold, God literally like that promoted her to a principal in the middle of the school year. And so she's been on her own learning curve, and then suddenly the coronavirus crisis hits. So listen, we know that God has prepared her for this time, and so we are grateful to have her on. Next, I would like to introduce Kim Stewart. She is our church videographer as well as our church photographer, and she is a pathology assistant. Y'all are testing my knowledge about you all tonight.
Yeah.
Bio in front of me. So if I'm getting this information right, then y'all really need to pat me on the back. She's a pathology assistant.
Yes.
And which means that she works with all types of interesting specimens during the day, but she is also a full-time mommy. And there's no such thing as a part-time parent, right? There's no such thing. Whether you're single, whether you're partner, whether you're married, it's a full-time job. But she has two children who are in two different grade levels, two different educational settings. And so she's going to talk with us about managing her children and a career and all of those things at this time. I want to bring up our next panelist, Elder Tracy Mayo. He is one of the elders at Hope Fellowship Church, as well as one of our esteemed youth leaders. And I think if we behind the scenes, it seems like it freezes when we have more people on. So if you could just bring me out to just me and Tracy, maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help with the buffering. But we have Elder Tracy Mayo, and she's going to talk to us about creativity at home, reinforcing what happens at home with your children. And so I'm excited to have Elder Mayo with me this evening. And certainly last but not least, we have with us Sister Kim Harris. Sister Kim Harris is the leader of our Hope Kids ministry. She is an educational consultant. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Oh, see, I know my members. Ain't nobody tell me I don't know my members. She's an educational consultant. She works with our children's ministry, and she has also had an extensive career in education. And so she is here with us this evening to talk about making sure that we instill faith values in our children. We understand that there is a separation of church and state, but now that our children are at home, it is not just our responsibility as parents to instill within them the educational and the academic acumen, but also to make sure that as a part of their curriculum, as a part of their regimen, we are reinforcing the necessary Christian ethics and morals that our children should be displaying. And y'all know I'm real. I shoot it straight from the hip. You know, our children typically act real good in church, but sometimes it's our church children at school that are getting detention, that are getting suspended, that are getting expelled, and they in church, while in children's church and youth church, talking and doing all the things that they should do while you in the sanctuary speaking in tongues and running up and down the aisle, and then they go to school the next day, they fight. Right? So we need to make sure that we're doing the right things to instill and motivate our children to model Christ while they are in school and while they are at home, everywhere that they go, because that's what we do as followers of Christ. We make sure that our Christ is not just centered in the church, but that it is a Christ that travels with us wherever we go. And so I want us to come in tonight and truly engage. You're going to have the opportunity to ask questions, as many questions as you would like. Each presenter is going to present for approximately 10 minutes. And if you have questions, we want you to send those in. You can write them in the comment box, and we will make sure that we address those Questions. Are we going to talk about online platforms tonight? Yes. Are we going to talk about helping our kids even with subjects that we don't necessarily understand? Yes, we're going to dig deep. So if you know a parent, here's what I want you to do. If you know a parent that is on social media, I want you to tag them right now before we even get started. I want you to tag them right now and say, hey, I need you to get on to this PTA night. Hope Fellowship is doing something that will be really special and meaningful for you as you try to navigate and move through this time. So without further ado, I don't know who was supposed to go first, but I'm going to decide that Dr. Melanie Johnson is going to go first. Dr. Melanie Johnson is going to talk a little bit this evening about navigating online platforms, some of the technological the positives of the technology, and then some of the drawbacks of the technology. And then for those who may not even have the access to the technology, that they have work packets that have gone out, and how we move our children academically through this time. So thank you, Dr. Melanie Johnson. The floor is yours. Take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I would just like to say, first of all, let's just breathe, because the good news is here. The good news is everything is going to be just fine. As an administrator who works for Volusia County Schools, Dr. Fritz is our superintendent, and there were 2 words that he sent us out as a goal for us to accomplish these last weeks of school, and it was grace and compassion. What he wanted our teachers to do, what he wanted his administrative team to do, was to make sure that we continue to build relationships with our students and with our parents. And we know very well as educators that our parents are not equipped to do the things that we do. We have been sent to school, we have been trained. Every year we go to trainings and we learn how to do what we do better. And so you're not equipped to do what we do. So what you have in front of you, this technology that you have and those learning packets that you have, your kids are going to be just fine, because the best thing for a parent to do right now is to partner with the schools. Find your teacher, your student's teacher, and become a partner with that person. That teacher is what's going to help get your child through the rest of this school year. Your relationship with that teacher is what's going to help get your child through the rest of this school year. A couple of things that I can tell you before we get into any technology piece are a couple of things that parents are very, very anxious about. We've had calls about parents being afraid that their children are going to be left behind. And the truth is, your child will not be retained because that child has been out of school. Okay? Don't worry about your child being held back. Don't worry about your child missing out on a whole lot. Those learning packets and the work that they're doing online are going to help sustain them for the rest of this school year. It is the partnership and the relationships that they have with their classroom teachers and their parents they have with the classroom teachers that are going to keep them on track. As far as attendance right now is taken once a week. Minimum we need for students and or their parents to check in with their classroom teacher. It could be any day of the week, and that would be the attendance for that entire week. What we're asking for parents to do is to make sure, like a schedule is set around the house to make sure that the child has regimented time to do the work that is required. Okay, those packets that went home, they're pretty thick, and the work that they have to do online is a lot of the same work that goes on during the school day when they're at school, but they're a little bit more independent with it. And so we've structured it so that it can be done more independently with a little bit of help from the parent, but with a lot of support from the classroom teacher. Even the parents that have learning packets have some sort of communication with their teacher through Remind, through Class Dojo, through texting, through emails. Our parents, you guys have been communicating with your teachers all year long. It's the same thing. It's just that now we know what the topics are. Okay, I can't get on this, or my student is having more difficulty completing that assignment. And that is the communication that takes place on those same platforms. It's nothing too extra. iReady, Canvas, these are platforms, Edgenuity. These are platforms that our students have been using all year long. Success Maker, Waterford. There's some other things that are out there too. I'm not talking strictly right now about Volusia County schools. So it's not like it's all brand new to our children. It's just that they may have gotten a little bit of extra support in the school with the teachers showing them how to one-to-one get into it. And so again, with that communication with our parents and with our teachers, that is going to be the key. I have teachers who are working on the weekends. They're calling their kids. The parents are emailing or texting at 7, 8 o'clock at night, and parents and teachers are responding. Our teachers are very concerned about our children, and they want to make sure that the kids have what it is that they need. If you have a loving and a wonderful relationship with your teacher, believe me, that teacher is definitely going to bend over backwards to help your child. The regular instruction that takes place during the day, most of it is the student with the technology or the student with the packet. Some of it is teachers coming online, actually doing live lessons, although that is not required to do. There are lots of teachers out there that are spending hours getting together online lessons and having kids come online, and they're teaching literacy, they're teaching math and science and social studies. There's even special area activity videos that are out there that special area teachers are doing. I have 2 teachers right now who have a Saturday book club. So it's the book club 4th grade teacher and my art teacher. They got together, they merged their clubs together. And so the kids are learning about the lightning thief, and they're adding some artwork to the reading. But there are teachers all over the country that are doing this because they are here for you. And that is the best thing I can tell a parent right now, is to trust in the educational system right now, trust in the teachers that have their children's backs. Grades are coming. Whatever the kids can do, we'll take a grade on that. Don't worry. One thing that Volusia County is doing right now is we're not giving out, or excuse me, we're not putting grades into gradebook in the 4th 9 weeks that are less than their 3rd 9 weeks grades. It's at least that or better. So don't worry about horrible grades getting into the grade book and things of that sort. We are all in this together. We know that kids are struggling, trying to make sure that they are doing the right things. They need a lot of extra assurances. And so that's why those relationships are so important. I mean, I know firsthand what it feels like to have a pat on the back and telling me that I'm doing a good job. And that's what I've sent my teachers out to do. That grace and compassion. That's where we are. As far as the technology is concerned, we have teachers who are ready to explain, go through it step by step with every parent, every student about how to get into something. Just recently, Pearson, or the math that was online, was having some issues, and so they shut it down. And so for Volusia County Elementary, if you cannot get into the Pearson Canvas, then you can go ahead and continue to have your child use the iReady Math. And they can use that 30 minutes of math time just with the iReady until the Pearson Math gets corrected. All right, so don't worry about that. We have moved to, we stopped at one time, we stopped Teams because there were a lot of things that were going on with Teams. And remember, we've got kindergarten all the way through 12th graders that are getting on these platforms. And in the very first week, it wasn't even a full 5 days, we started having students that were chatting with one another, sharing inappropriate videos with one another, and doing all kinds of inappropriate things. So some of that stuff we had to tamp down as a district, and that was happening all over the country. Sometimes when you open up a platform like that, and all it takes is one person to mess it up for everybody. But what we have brought back is the ability for students to be able to communicate verbally through the virtual learning with their classroom teachers and during instructional time with their peers about instruction. And so parents, I need you to understand that there's a big difference between just chatting about any old thing and then chatting about the work at hand. And that is what the Teams platform is for, chatting about the work at hand. Okay, so I'm sorry if some of us have a problem with that, but these platforms are for educational purposes only. And As the teacher works with students on these platforms, if there's an opportunity for socialization, the teacher is there. There's a qualified adult there with them to monitor the conversation and to monitor the events and activities that are taking place. I'm hoping that this has helped you all feel a little bit safer, feel a little bit more comfortable with what we're going through. I'm telling you, I've got a school full of teachers who are still very excited. I am smiling every day because I know that my children on my campus are being loved, they're being cared for, and that their parents believe that they have the support they need to get through the rest of this school year. And I'm hoping that other schools are doing the same. Any questions? Just feel free and let me know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mel. That was amazing. And I want to congratulate you and all of the fine teachers of the Turi T Small Elementary School. And while we're at it, I want to really give a shout out to all principals, assistant principals, coaches, reading coaches, special education teachers, all the faculty of schools who are working hours way beyond they would normally work if they were typically on campus. And like you're saying, there are many teachers who are that are committed to their children's success. And I keep saying their children because many teachers really do look, I would say most teachers look at this not as a job, because we know that teaching can be a thankless job. And it can also be a very underpaid job. So when people go into this, they truly do it for the love, and they do it because they truly believe it's their calling and their passion. So I want to thank all of the teachers. And if you know some great teachers out there, I want you to even tag them in this, because sometimes they need to hear that attaboy and that attagirl. And so are there any questions for people who are watching? Any questions about technology that we've had people to send in? Any questions about these platforms? And like you said, the chatting, we have to make sure that we keep up with the chatting. You know, is it better to have the package and online work? Sister Donnie asked.
I would say yes. My school is a school that we've got 486 kids, and it's 96% free and reduced lunch. And so a lot of our parents had some type of technology access and internet access. And so we did have like almost 200 of our parents actually came out and got the iPads. But many of them came back because there were some things that they had issues getting into, and some things that they had issues with the students understanding. And so they wanted that paper pencil, they wanted that those hard copies. And so the second distribution that we had in the first 2 weeks, we allowed for parents to come and get both technology and the packet. And so that you still get to choose. So some of the stuff that they can do online, great. The other stuff that they were having issues with, they got that paper and pencil packet and go for it.
Are there any other, Dr. Mel, regarding the actual academic educational processes, how this is being navigated?
Is that a question for me? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just asking, are there any more questions out there? We want to make sure that we don't skip by any of you. I know some of you may still be typing, but we want, Dr. Mel, could you quickly talk just a little bit more about this whole notion of promotion at the end of the year? Because I know that is a big thing for parents as to whether or not their children can proceed to the next grade. And I know it's different based off of the various states in the United States of America. So could you speak to it from the perspective of preparation? I know one of my concerns has always been, when it comes to education, promoting people who aren't ready, promoting children who are not prepared. So if they were struggling in 4th grade, and then this happens where they can't finish the school year with close contact with a teacher, they may not be ready for 5th grade. So do we go ahead and promote them and hope that they catch up? Do we hold them back? What are some of the pros and cons of either? Could you speak to that a little bit?
Sure, I could. I can say, let me start with this. What's happening is that because we've had this state testing that comes in and assesses our children, not even at the end of the school year, we've forgotten about how we give a student an entire year's progress or process to become proficient at that grade level before they move on.
Mhm.
So with that being said, if a student misses an entire 9 weeks, that could have been the 9 weeks that they finally got it.
That's right.
So it's really hard to quote unquote penalize the student or retain them or keep them back if they haven't had the opportunity to experience a full year of education within that grade level.
Mhm.
So I think that's where the district is going with that we may not retain students within a grade level, but we do want to look at the entire student all the way up until COVID-19.
Yes.
There were students who have been struggling since day one. And so we are well aware of that. But could that final 4 weeks, or excuse me, fourth quarter, have been the tipping point for a student? And so we have to look at how we're going to code the kids, although we might move everyone on to the next grade. Is it truly a promotion? And so we're not sure yet. There hasn't been a definitive answer as to how we code our students going into the end of the school year as far as promotion retention. And so some schools like mine, we've already had the conversations about which kids were already concerns of ours before COVID-19. And so we have prepared a list of students who we would consider to do other things with, if not promotion. So just to be ready.
Okay.
And we're also, again, we're looking at attendance. We're looking at how these families and those students who have been struggling throughout the year are responding to the online education, to the online learning, and to see if we can continue to keep that student engaged throughout the rest of this year. So they haven't said a definitive answer yet, but Dr. Fritz, our superintendent, says that we are not going to be retaining kids due to COVID-19.
And I'm sure as we look at many other school systems around the country, that seems to be kind of the same song and dance that I hear just kind of going around in my reading around the country as well. And so it is so key that if your child was doing well prior to COVID-19, that you keep them on track. And if your child was struggling prior to COVID-19, that you spend this extra time parent to child, and that you leverage these resources of these teachers who are making themselves available even after work hours, 7, 8, 9 p.m. at night, to help you help your child. So that is so very important. If there are no other questions, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Mel, for being with us tonight. Next on the docket is Kim Stewart. Awesome job, Dr. Mel. Let's bring on Kim Stewart, who happens to be just kind of the Renaissance woman, photographer, videographer, and our Monday's best submission now, gospel singer. Shameless plug. Please go to our Facebook page, Hope Fellowship, the Victory Center, and look at our Monday's best gospel submissions. And I promise you, the Stewart Band will truly be a blessing to you. But being a parent is challenging, just overall. You know, it is not easy raising children. It is not easy raising children in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And in the 21st century, raising children is different than it was even when I was growing up in the 90s. It's a different world. So we want you to kind of hone in this evening on some of the challenges and the opportunities of having two different children, you know, in different grade levels, different needs, different spaces in their life, also maybe different strengths and weaknesses academically. And how are you doing with this whole homeschooling process? How are you balancing everything? How are you balancing being a wife, being a mother, being an employee, and all of this, and just even balancing the anxiety of the crisis? So if you can kind of speak into that for us, we'd be glad to hear what you got to say. Take it away, Sister Kim.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. I first want to say I am an essential worker. So every day, I'm not on the front line, but every day I go into where there are frontline workers caring for COVID patients, and the fear is there. So my main concern is when I get home that I keep my family safe. I keep my kids safe. My mother lives here with us. You know, my husband's safe. I want to make sure that I make sure I'm sanitized before I could even interact with the family. So that's a whole process in itself. But I thank the Lord that my husband is here to be able to work at home, keep the kids on track, fed and focused. So I really commend Dr. Mel, and I'm so thankful she said it, because we're not homeschool teachers. I mean, I understand that they're at home doing school, but we don't have the degrees. We have degrees, but it's not in teaching. So to be able to help them, we knew long before, when we've helped with math earlier in the school year, that uh, uh, it's just different. Just like you said, it's a lot different than what it was when we were growing up. So we've already helped with math problems before and actually got them wrong. So, and the kids are looking at us like, didn't you take math before? Didn't you take this? And it's like, okay, so we really are thankful for the teachers that went to school for this and that know what they're doing, and for putting those resources, in place beforehand in the beginning of the school year, like the Remind apps. We already had those in place before this happened. So we're so thankful for that. Having a good rapport, just like Dr. Melanie said, having a good rapport with the teachers, having a good rapport with the teachers ahead of time, because I've had a teacher email me. She had she already knows me. So she's emailed me about how to get into something, because we weren't sure how to get into a certain platform to send off vocal and ensemble, of course, of all things, vocal and ensemble for Cameron, not for Mikey, but for Cameron. So when I come home, after I'm all sanitized and everything, I just ask them to see their progress, because that's a good thing. I don't know if it's on Edgenuity or however they show me. I know that there's a bar for their 4 classes that says either red, blue, or green. Red meaning you're behind, blue meaning you're on task, and green meaning you're ahead. So they know by the time I come home, I need them to be on blue or green and the percentages be up, to let me know that they're not behind. And if they're behind, then they know they need to keep working a little bit longer. I ask them if they need help. Every time they really say, no, we're good. I know how to do it. And I'm like, is there any, I beg them, let me help you do something. And they're like, well, we already know, and I can ask my teacher. So I'm okay with that. Let the teachers, I am okay. I trust the teachers to do what they, are paid to do, what they have a degree in, because I really feel like, especially in the beginning, we really didn't have a routine. And I won't say I felt helpless, but I'm like, we got to do what? And how is this working? You're on Teams, Edgenuity, on Canvas, but it's things that they already were familiar with. So the one thing that they really weren't familiar with was emailing their teachers, because they see them every day. They would see them every day and we'll be able to talk to them that way. So that was the only thing that we had to grab a hold of, is being able to, for them to email their teachers if they had a question. So for that part, I'm very thankful. And as you see behind me, Mike has a little chart for them. Okay, every day, this is our routine, because when we didn't have a routine, it was ugly. They thought they could wake up when they want and do their homework when they want. We actually had them sitting together at the kitchen table, so Mike can see them, we can see them getting their homework done. But just like the teachers have reminded us or told us before, pretty much we knew Mikey can get his homework done pretty quick. Cameron takes her time, gets things done on her own time, and when Mikey's done with his work, he's disruptive. We knew this already. This was not anything new. So he was actually being pretty disruptive to Cameron. So we had to separate them to do their homework. So all the things that the teachers were telling me and calling me about during the school year, we see it. So the behavior thing, I can't wait till we get to that part, because we need a detention room or something, but we already know how to handle that, because it's Xbox. We take away that Xbox. So let me see, I have little notes. I am thankful for the teachers, definitely. And I'm very thankful that this happened halfway through or almost at the end of the school year, not in the beginning, because having those systems in place, knowing the teachers, having a good rapport with them, and the kids knowing the teachers already is really helpful. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I have a couple questions. Number one, I want you to bring that easel closer to us so we
Oh,
can
yeah.
see on there.
Yeah. Hold on. Mike is going to bring it over.
I want to see what's actually on the schedule.
Yes.
You know, and while he's bringing that, while Big Mikey is bringing the easel to us, you said something very interesting, which is you have noticed the behavioral issues at home.
Yes.
And, you know, one of the things that oftentimes I've noticed with some parents is that they act very surprised when they hear from the teacher that who they thought was Cupid the angel is actually one of Bebe's kids. And so could you talk about this whole notion of the observation of the behavior of your children and dealing with behavioral issues at home, so that when they get back to school in the fall, we may be ahead of the curve in this behavior situation?
Right. Well, I think for parents, you know your child. You really do. You know your child. And yeah, no, Dr. Johnson had Mikey before. So, and the thing is, parents, you know your child. So, and some of the things that teachers would tell us before, had they said Cameron did it, I'll be like, I don't think so. But Mikey did it. Yeah, that sounds about right. We have that same issue at home. So I always believe the teachers, and Mikey would be like, why do you always believe them? And he's even trying to run the same game at home against his own dad and I, you know what I mean, against us, where it's like, you know, that didn't happen. It happened like this. So I'm under the, I mean, he thinks up and down that this happened, but this really happened. But I've seen things happen, and his whole perspective of what happened is different. And he likes to do the whole, you know, woe is me thing, like I'm the victim all the time and things like that. But he has a mouth on him, and we all know that. So to handle that is taking things away from him, things that he likes, part of his routine, going to bed early or something like that.
Right.
We're pretty much handling it the same way as if he were acting up in school. Mm-hmm.
And that's so key, I think, because both Mikey and Cameron are excellent children. And I believe that all of our children in the world are excellent children, even though they may have some misguided behaviors. It's just our responsibility as parents to make sure that we assist the teachers in not only navigating the academic process, but also navigating the character issues and the concerns with behavior. So what's on that easel? And if you all have any questions for Kim, because they obviously have a whole system going on over here. So that you can share, because I believe that there's some parent listening right now that if they implement some of these tools and strategies, that things will definitely improve at home.
Yes, well, we have 7:30, they wake up, they take their shower, clean their room, etc. They have prayer, breakfast, and then they start their virtual learning, because we don't like calling it homeschooling, because homeschooling, the parents are the teachers, and they have their teachers, and we're so thankful for that. And then they take their lunch break, and then we try to make sure that all their work is completed by 4:15. But you know, most times that doesn't happen because you know, some assignments are longer than the other. And then of course, PE coach here has basketball, workout, drill, ball handling, their strength training and agilities. And then they could do their social media, gaming, artwork. And then family time, reflection. That's by the time I come home. Prayer, bedtime. And that's at 10:30. That's just pretty late. Yeah.
That's a whole, listen, I need me an easel at home.
Right.
I need for myself. So watch, everybody, I hope that you're watching. They have their children on a wake up schedule, on an eating schedule. Family time is scheduled in. Y'all, listen, I got convicted looking at that for how I even schedule my own self. Like literally, everything is, even the social time, the downtime.
Yeah.
So that people understand that this is not a free for all. That is so good. And even if you don't have an easel like that, you can get some big construction paper from Walgreens or CVS and write out the schedule and all of those things to make sure that our children understand that this is still school.
Yeah.
This is still education. And we are making sure that we assist and to use your term, that we support the teacher in educating you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is key, because there are many parents who have gotten intimidated, and rightfully so, with this whole idea that now my kids are homeschooled.
Right.
No. This is virtual education.
Yeah.
I.e. distance learning, the same way many people have completed their degrees online. They didn't teach themselves. It was just an alternative means of education. And we will discover, I believe, and maybe someone will speak to this later, that some of our kids may do better in the distance situation than they really do in person. So are there any questions? Lavonda, has anybody given any questions for Kim? Or can we move on to our next panelist? Any questions out there?
No.
No questions? Well, thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much. We'll bring you up again at the wrap up. I hope that everybody out there is enjoying this, and that you are taking notes, and that you are making sure that you share this with other parents. This is an invaluable time. I hope that you're feeling more relaxed. I hope that you're feeling more at ease with this, because I understand that you were stressed out, but you are not a homeschool teacher. You are a parent who is assisting your child in their educational process. It's just now they are at home and they are no longer on the physical campus, which means that you have to be a bit more involved. But I'm so glad to hear that the teachers are being supported, that the teachers are not looking at this as a 9-week vacation, but they are committed to your child to the end. And so next, I believe we're going to bring up Elder Tracy Mayo. Elder Tracy Mayo works in the education system, and she has a beautiful daughter by the name of Madison. And Elder Mayo, might I add, is probably one of the most creative, dedicated mamas I have ever met in my life, besides my own mom. Now, and even my own mama didn't do some of the stuff that, Elder Mayo does. I mean, they took trips around the world in the bathtub the other day, all types of stuff. But creativity that is happening at home as an accent to the education that goes on in the classroom has helped Madison not just be at level, but also to get ahead. And so I want to turn it over to you so you can talk about the creativity in the education process, even at home, particularly with an elementary school student, because those years are so critical and so key. And so how can we make this whole home situation fun for everybody involved? Not only how can we make it fun, but how can we make sure, and Kim spoke into it a bit, this whole notion of structure and, all of the things that come along with making sure that it's been a productive day. So take it away, Elder Mayo. I know you got it.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. What I do, I love this section because it talks about our creativity, that's one of the things I love about my daughter and also myself. So one thing I like to focus on is a word wall. Basically, because we're home, we're quarantined, I usually just take down all the pictures in the home and just put index cards up with words on it, any type of vocabulary words, and just place them all on the wall. It doesn't matter. Bathroom, living room, kitchen, bedroom, the doors, the back part of the doors, it doesn't matter. So once we do like a word wall, we have to, I ask her to incorporate one of the words in a sentence later on that day. She has to be able to use something. So that helps build her vocabulary as well, because depending on what grade level it is, sometimes they do focus on vocabulary, some may not, but in the home, I think this is a great time to do a word wall. I know you see a lot of the items that are here, so we try to incorporate a lot of things. Since we're out, I found this book. You would not believe it. I found it at Goodwill. It was about 15 cents or so. So a lot of times, a lot of our kids don't know how to write letters. So what I do, I end up getting a letter, an envelope. talked about her return, the importance of knowing her return address, who she's sending it to, and where the stamp goes. So she actually did that project not too long ago. And just to show you guys quickly, someone ended up writing her back, and it was awesome. Not only that, they sent something, a little gift to say thank you for your time. So that was also amazing. There's something else that that we also focus on. Sometimes kids, well, with my daughter, she tends to struggle with math, especially like fractions here and there. So what I did, we grabbed a pair of pants. Pair of pants we have here, regular pair of pants. I asked her to fold them in halves, fold them in halves. Then after that, I need her to fold them in thirds. So what did she do? She folded them in thirds, which was fantastic. So not only she knows the fractions, her clothes are now folded. So she helped in that as well. Another activity that we focus on is following directions and being able to put clues together. So what do? We started a escape room in the home. So you can fill it out however you want. I know a lot of you guys heard about an escape room or even attended, the escape room. So each folder, any cheap folders, Dollar Tree, Goodwill, Walmart, it doesn't really matter. You fill each one with clues in it and you stick them around the home wherever you are. That is a perfect example. Another thing, we also make up holidays. Very creative. Any type of holiday. Just recently, we had string holiday. Why? Because we felt like it. And this is what she did. So we put the string all throughout the home. It doesn't matter, around the doors, the chairs, the dog's legs, the cages, the television. It doesn't really matter. So it helps with color, ingenuity, and being able to be creative with that idea as well. So that's what we did with string. The next thing, a lot of us have food coloring in the home. So we did a mixture of creative puff paint. It was a mixture of like flour, dish soap water, and food coloring as well. So we put it in here, very easy measurements. You shake it up, regular containers you can buy at Dollar Tree or Walmart for like less than $1. Mix them up, go outside, end up drawing on the concrete. Here's the thing with these. If you're doing like hopscotch or something, you can write equations on the concrete. You can do any of that. Art enhancement, any of those things. That is extremely cheap and extremely effective as well. The next thing we have here, we need to invite our kids into the kitchen. This is the best time ever to have your child in the kitchen. Madison loves being in the kitchen. She actually would love to be a science chef. So great. So we're going to try this one. So what we do, she is the person that has to do the measurements. So again, math equations, math fractions, all of those things. So she has these and these. Easy pickup, Walmart, Dollar Tree, doesn't really matter. Keep it cheap. Goodwill, keep it as inexpensive as possible. Now, I handle the oven, all the hot things. She does the measurements. Here's the thing about this, that what I love. It does not matter if your child messes up on the ingredients, because we're still going to eat it. We must eat it. This is the reason why. Because once the item is made and it is cooked, we always talk about the importance of the mistake. Knowing what the mistake is, so the next time when we try it again, she know, maybe next time I should add 1/3 of this, or maybe I should add a half of this instead of a cup of that. And it's an easy way to discuss the mistakes. That is a great life lesson for our children today, to be able to openly discuss our life mistakes of what happened and being able to own it, as well as to go through the necessary steps to make those things better. And last but not least, I know you guys see this map that is placed behind me. Why do I have this map? Let me tell you. A lot of us are already sequestered in the home. We can't go anywhere. So what we do, we turn our bathroom into whatever excursion we want it to be. Just recently, we just sailed all over the world. It doesn't matter. We did it. We sailed. If we want to go to Africa, we went to Africa. Want to go to Europe, we went to Europe. So we set up the whole entire bathroom. Many of you are probably like, where do you get the decorations? If you have holiday decorations, take the holiday decorations out. pull them out, pull them into the bathroom. Christmas lights. If you have little trinkets around your home, pull all those items down and pull them into the bathroom. So that is, I wish I had the picture to show you guys, but it is a wonderful, wonderful adventure for you to allow your child's imagination to grow and expand in that way. Last but not least, we have a chat and chew. My daughter and I have a chat and chew. So usually we go to a restaurant to kind of eat, to talk about things of the world or things that may be bothering her. But as of this point, we can't go anywhere. So what do? We bring fine dining outside. Our leather chairs, they go outside. China, plates, it doesn't matter. Paper plates, plastic plates, bring it outside. She wore her gown outside. Yes, I also had a gown and we wore it outside. Did our neighbors look at us like we were crazy? Absolutely, but we did not care. So that was our time to converse and to chat and chew about many of the things that she is going through or experiencing, or even just talking about the virus of what's currently going on. And last but not least, we also have an award ceremony. Towards the end, cheap things, very, very cheap. Award ceremony. So what we do, I award her for all the hard work that she has done throughout the week. Easy, 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 easy. You did a great job with solving the equations. Here's your award. You did a great job with folding the clothes, and as well as with your fractions as well. These are the things that we do. So this is just, like I said, it was very cheap, inexpensive. You want to be able to make the learning come alive. Very easy ways to do all those things. And we have fun. The main thing is to have fun. I know you also spoke about this, the schedule. How do we tie it all in together? We already touched on it briefly about the schedule. You want to try to stick to the schedule. And if it doesn't, if you really don't meet the need, or you go a little further in the schedule, it's perfectly fine. But you want to try to hone in on that schedule to try to make sure you include everything into that for your child. So that's what I have this evening.
That was great. And one of the things as you were talking that I was really thinking about is that you are very, very intentional, right? About making sure that Madison's educational experience is enriched, right?
Yes.
And so enrichment cannot happen just at school. Enrichment has to happen at home, right? And so I hear some parents probably saying, oh my God, she thought about all of that. Yes, she thought about all of that because thinking is important. Mm-hmm. Thinking is essential. When you know your child's strengths, whether it be their personality and their academic strengths, you lean into those. When you know their weaknesses, you bolster those. And so can you talk a little bit to the parent that's saying, you know, where do I start? Like, I look at this stuff and I'm almost intimidated. And so where would you suggest they start? Like, what's a good starting place, especially for a child that's in their elementary years?
I think the great starting place would be is to find out the things that your child likes. You have to be able to develop that communication, that conversation, that trust, that bond with your child, and to find out what are their favorite colors, what are their favorite foods, what are some things that you don't like. Not only the things that you like, you have to know what your child does not like as well, and to kind of to piggyback on those things. So if they like the color pink, well, there might be a reason why they like the color pink. So when we're going over fractions, maybe put all the fractions in the color pink. If she doesn't like the color gray, then we will not use the color gray in certain things that I know the areas that she may be struggling in. But I think it's very important for you to develop and have that type of communication, that open dialogue with your child to find out the likes as well as the dislikes. And I think that's a great starting point.
That is a great starting point, knowing what your child, and that means you have to communicate with your child. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't, because, you know, sometimes we think that this whole communication thing is about friendship, but it's not about friendship as much as it is about understanding and mutuality and unity. And you talk to Madison and you allow Madison to talk to you. Free expression. And so that's really good. Do we have any questions from those of you who are watching? Any questions for Elder Mayo before we move to our final panelist this evening? Any questions for Elder Mayo? Thank you so much, Elder Mayo. I appreciate you, and we know that you have given parents some amazing things to think about. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, our final panelist this evening. I pray you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying this, please go to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and press share. And we're coming to our final panelist, but again, we say the best for all of them. So best isn't last, the best isn't first. All of them are the best. I've got some of the best members in God's earth as persons who are committed to children and committed not only to their academic success, but also their spiritual success. So, Sister Kimberly Harris, you are an educational consultant. You also are one who works in local church ministry. So you've had a long time. So can you talk to the parents tonight about the importance of spiritual enrichment and spiritual growth and all of those things for us this evening?
Absolutely. So listen, parents, grandparents, and caregivers, you're probably saying, listen, I'm already overwhelmed with this work, but there's one thing I know. There's one thing for sure. It is because of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. It behooves us to build our faith. And so as we talk about building the faith, we want to make sure that we continue that spiritual enrichment even at home. And there's just a few simple things that we want to share with you. 3 little things that we want to share, but that will make a mighty difference in the lives of your children as we go through this time of the COVID-19. And so in building that faith, one of the things that we want you to do is empower them to be helpers. Empower them. There are so many people who are in need around our cities, and we want you to definitely empower them to be a help to someone along the way. Look for ways outside that where they can explore different things, that they could maybe help neighbors pull in their trash can, some way that they can be a helper to someone else who is in need. Another thing that we want you to think about, and it's kind of the most important to me, is model faith in everything you do. Model what it looks like to have faith, what it sounds like to have faith, especially in your conversations. You want to make sure that everything your children hear you say is of the Lord, and it is building their faith, and especially asking them to pray for specific people. So as you involve them into that conversation, involve them into a way to be helpful to others, you are in fact building their faith. And then also teach them to have compassion for other people. Here at Hope, we are always talking about our blueprint and reaching, connecting, growing, and serving. And so in that, we're always focused in on how can I be more compassionate to other people? And so here's the thing. In just a second, they're going to share the PowerPoint with you, but we want you to know that there are going to be activities available for your child to be able to participate and help you to build their faith. So I want you at the end of this broadcast, go to our website at hopefellowship.org, and there's going to be a link there that will guide you to various activities that you can incorporate to be able to build the spiritual development within your children. And again, we're really focusing on building their faith. And I guarantee you, as you continue to talk with them about their faith and to continue to talk to them about empowering one another, having compassion for one another, I guarantee you, your faith will begin to build in the process as well. And so when you look on our church website, again, there's going to be activities there for middle school, for elementary, middle school, and high school, just a little something that you can do to support you in that effort as you work to build that faith. So we certainly are praying for you. We're certainly praying for your family and your loved ones, and hopeful that you will continue to build the faith, not only in your children through their spiritual enrichment, but also continue to build the faith within yourselves. God bless you. I think we're waiting for our pastor to come back. And as we wait, just again, if there are any opportunities that you might have to share some things that you're doing at home, put that in the comment box, some things that you might be doing to build the faith. Put that in the comment box, and we certainly will help you along the way and add to your toolbox to give you some things to do that will help you in that process.
Thank you so much, Sister Kim. We want to make sure and that's, even though your presentation was the shortest of them all, I'm not sure if you cut yourself down. You could have kept going, but listen, I think that buttons it up for us, right? It is so important that as people of faith, that the faith that we have on the inside of us, I believe it was the Apostle Paul that talks about his faith, that he got it from his mother and his grandmother, that we make sure that we pass that down from generation to generation. And so this time at home, the Bible says, train up a child, Proverbs 22, in the way that they should go. So this time at home is the perfect opportunity for us to talk about compassion and love and generosity. Watch this. And to create contexts for our children to be able to express them. So could you perhaps before we show the PowerPoint, hopefully we can get it up, but could you talk a little bit about practical ways whereby which the children may be able to express some of these faith concepts that we instill in them on a daily basis?
Absolutely. I love table topics. And so when we're having dinner and we're sitting around, I love to be able to use table topics as a way to generate conversation and discussion. And that's also an opportunity to start to build their values and all the things that you want them to be able to learn and do in an effort to build their faith. So I love table topics. Another thing that I love to do is to really start to journal some of our thoughts and our feelings about the things that we are experiencing. And it helps to be able to write those things down. So those are two real practical things that I truly think will go a long way in helping us to express ourselves and then be able to build our value system and then again, be able to build our faith.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Table topics, making sure that we discuss. So I saw that we were able to get our PowerPoint on the stage, or on the screen rather. I'm so ready to get back to the stage. I'm talking about stages and stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and display that so we can look at our spiritual enrichment.
Absolutely. And actually, we can go right to that second page because, Pastor, one of the things I know that we do at Hope is we commit. And so what I'm asking for parents to do today is take a look at some of the activities that we're going to have on that website and commit to one thing that they think might be the easiest to implement in this very first week. So the first one you have is looking at my church book. So as we are live streaming across the nation, there's opportunities to hear preachers and pastors from all walks of life. Take that church book and capture some notes, some things that you want to think about as you go on, some things that you want to apply to your everyday life that will also help you build the faith. Then another thing that we could do is have a scripture a week. Memorize it and commit to memory a scripture of the week that will lead and guide us throughout the week and help us along the way, help us to stay focused, help us to stay encouraged, and help us to continue to build our faith. And another thing that the children in elementary and middle school love fortune tellers. Now, we probably have never even heard of them, but they love these fortune tellers. There's going to be a fortune teller on the screen, on the website with the 10 commandments in it. And that's a good starting place to talk about being compassionate, to talk about modeling our faith, a good opportunity for us to really, really hone in on what Christ expects us to do in our daily walk. So those are some 3 practical things. And from week to week, we're going to be displaying some different choices, some different opportunities that parents can then use and put into their own toolbox.
That's so amazing. Could you give us that website again? Because there are persons from Hope watching, there are persons around the country watching who are looking for some spiritual enrichment activities for their children. And we want to be able to give them that resource. What's that website again?
It's going to be right at www.hopefellowship.org. There'll be a link for activities for during this COVID-19 situation. And so they'll be there for them to download, for them to use and recreate even if they need to.
Right there at our church website. Isn't that amazing? We have resources for everyone. Thank you so much, Sister Kim Harris, for the amazing work that you do. I am not ashamed to say that I would probably say last year, 75% of the baptisms that we performed at Hope Fellowship Church were children in children's ministry that gave their lives to Jesus Christ. It means that you all are doing a phenomenal job in bolstering and building the faith that is a generational faith that's within us in this next generation. And we could not say thank you enough. Now, we've had some interesting issues with bringing everybody on screen with buffering, but if we can just go one at a time and make sure we thank all of our panelists. Thank you again, Sister Kim Harris, for being with us this evening. Dr. Melanie Johnson, the principal of Turity Elementary School in Daytona Beach, Florida. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Elder Tracy Grimes Mayo, thank you so much for being with us this evening for PTA night. Sister Kim Stewart, thank you so much for sharing your time with us this evening for PTA night. And to all of you, my sisters and brothers that have gathered from all around the nation, some even various parts of the world, those of you who are part of the family of hope here at our physical campuses, and those of you who are connected with our ministries from everywhere. We are grateful to you for spending this time with us. And we hope that something that was said, something that was spoken tonight, something that you saw on screen, that some word, some phrase registers with you, and that you're able to move forward with your child through this season, knowing that not only is God going to protect you from the virus, but that God is also going to help you promote Christian values and to promote academic excellence right there in your home. There's a hymn of the church that says, "Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will." God has the whole world in his hands, and I promise you, everything is going to be all right. And so I want to just take a moment and briefly pray with us, briefly pray with that God would bless your child's school year with great success, and that all would be well, that you would maneuver and move through this time without any unnecessary stress and frustration on you, and that God will continue to allow peace to abide and abound in your home. Father, we thank you for this time. I thank you for these amazing panelists that came together. Pray your blessings upon them, their own children, and their careers. Lord, we thank you for those who have gathered this evening, who come in, and some came in and stayed, some came in and left. They heard what they needed to hear. But Lord, I thank you that faith comes by hearing. So I pray that tonight somebody will have been empowered, somebody will have been educated, somebody would have been inspired and motivated, somebody would have been encouraged to know that you're working things together for good to them that love you and are the called according to your purpose. So bless our children. Bless children everywhere. Bless parents everywhere. Give them all grace and wisdom and knowledge and peace and power and understanding and compassion. In the name of Jesus, we pray for children that don't have parents, that are wards of the state, and those who are homeless, and those who are perhaps even in abusive situations. Lord, we pray that in your mercy that you would help them. But Lord, for all of us, we commit ourselves to you. We commit this time to you. We commit the rest of this school year to you. And we know that, Father, you will cause us to excel and to move forward in grace. For you do exceeding abundantly above what we ask or think, according to the power that works within us. We honor you. We bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. Guess what? I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Until we meet again tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. for prayer with Bishop Iona Locke, know this, that everything is going to be all right. I guarantee you that, because God is in control. Y'all have a blessed night. Be blessed.